The Struggling Artist Record Club is a vinyl record subscription service where I hunt and curate the best punk and punk-adjacent music out there and mail their record to your door each and every month. Imagine finding your new favorite band from across the country without ever having to leave the house. It doesn't get much better than that. The excitement of discovering new music just got that much easier. As a member of the Struggling Artist Record Club, you are going to receive some of the best music you've ever heard from bands you may never even heard of. Whether you've been collecting records for years or just starting out, the Struggling Artist Record Club is designed specifically for you. And right now, all new members get a Struggling Artist Record Club exclusive along with the monthly selection. So head to StrugglingArtistRecordClub.com, pick a membership, and start building that collection today.
Welcome to the Struggling Artist Record Club recap for April, featuring the band Scarboro from New York. Before we start, Dave, what music are you excited about right now?
Really into the new Social Distortion album. It's kind of crazy. It took them about 15 years, but Mike Ness got cancer. And anyway, I've been really into that one. Bird Legs, featuring Eric from the legendary Nerve Agents, along with Jade from AFI. Got Yellow Stitches from Boston. They just released their first album in about 14 years. They kind of play like a Sugar Oi style. We got the new Face to Face live album. They're one of my favorite bands, and that's sold out in 2 hours. So I'm really glad I got that. Basically, if I didn't click on Instagram at that time of the day, I would not have gotten that. So really glad I got that. Record Store Day was a lot of fun. I picked up a lot of albums there. My favorite would be the Joe Strummer one.
Okay.
Global A Go-Go. Really been listening to that a lot. And then some other releases that I've been really enjoying are the new Killigans. They remind me of Flogging Molly a lot. The new Terror, Street Dogs, Fading American Dream, the 20th anniversary release. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. I pre-ordered the new Real Mackenzies on a picture disc. That looks really cool. Menzingers from Philly, pre-ordered that. Again, new pre-order for AFI, one of their older albums with a famous song, Miss Murder, on it. Been getting back into AFI lately. Rudimentary, P9, the EPs of Rudimentary P9 were released last week, reissued. Got that on white vinyl. Frozen Soul, a death metal band. Trevor Keith from Face to Face released his first, I don't know if it's first, but he released a solo album. I pre-ordered that. Mischief Brew from Philly, Alternative Tentacles, released a gold copy of that. I only had that on black originally, so I gifted the black one to a friend last week, and then now I have the one on gold coming up. Big D and the Kids Table, pre-ordered that. Rudy Nuno, I have that landing Friday or Saturday. That's really cool. It's got Amy of the Interrupters singing on it, and then the other dude from the Interrupters, he produced it. So yeah, as always, just a lot of stuff, a lot of pre-orders, a lot of albums, a lot of reissues. Just never seems to end.
Yeah. As far as I've got, haven't really picked up a lot of new music recently because I'm trying to pack up some stuff.
Yeah.
I'll be moving in a few months, so I don't want to buy more than I need to right now.
Makes total sense.
Yeah. I did also pick up the Killigans. I saw you post about it on Instagram, so showed up about a week later for me. I had mentioned to you Doom Scroll. I went to see them about a month ago now, and you mentioned some of their other bands were pretty good too. So I got Atrocity Solutions, vinyl. I can't remember the title of the album, but it's pretty good too.
But you got that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's one of my favorite ska punk albums of all time. It's just so epic. Really amazing stuff. You're gonna enjoy that a lot.
I think it's over an hour in length.
Yeah,
nice.
It's crazy, right? How long it is.
Yeah, and I bought a bunch of other records when I did the Atrocity Solutions, but I haven't really paid attention to anything. I've been so busy with work and other stuff, and the NHL playoffs. So I'm spending most of my evenings watching hockey for a bit.
Same. Yep. It's always
sorry about Philly.
Yeah.
Or congrats for the first round. Sorry about the second round.
Carolina's just a much better team. Is what it is.
Crazy.
Yeah, they're so good.
Yeah. I do have a concert coming up in a couple weeks. I'll be singing the Swingin' Utters for the my fourth time. And then early next month, probably, it's going to be before we record again, I'll see the Raging Nathans, which I'm really looking forward to.
Oh yeah, they're excellent. Two epic bands there, Raging Nathans and Swingin' Utters. Can't beat that.
Yeah. I think that's all I've got for now.
Cool. Sounds good. Hopefully you enjoy Swingin' Utters. They're just one of the best live bands. Absolutely love seeing them. So hopefully you'll enjoy them. Raging Nathans, I heard, was awesome as well. So those should be good ones. I actually have. I told you before I got Biohazard tomorrow. So, and then after that, I got Larry and his Flask, June 15th, and then a bunch of other shows. So, anyway, gonna go ahead and read that. Sorry, what were we gonna say?
Well, I was just gonna say, last week my boss told me that he's flying to Japan to see Iron Maiden.
Yeah, I remember you telling me your boss was an Iron Maiden fanatic. That's a little much. I got tickets for Iron Maiden in September in Philly, so I don't need to go to Japan, but I'm sure he'll have a good blast.
Yeah, he's going to take his son. They're going to do some touristy stuff, so it'll be a good time for them.
Definitely. All right, the readout. We got Friends. We're 4 months into the 2026, and we aren't slowing down one bit. I present to you Scarboro's latest record, Hate Season. This album gives me huge 80s hardcore mixed with 90s skate punk vibes. I get like a Pennywise, Bad Religion meets Bad Brains type mixture. This is a band I recently discovered, and I wound up being pissed at myself for not hearing of them sooner. The vulnerability of Shy, pronounced Shu, I'm just going to say Shy, puts into the lyrics through the trials and tribulations of substance abuse, being a father, and dealing with the political climate, prominent, yet still vague enough for anyone to relate to the music, makes him one of my favorite songwriters. I hope you all enjoy Hate Season as much as I did on first listening. I threw a flyer for the record club with each record, share it with a friend. Also, I want to shout out to Dave and Ryan for doing a great job hosting the record club recap on the Struggling Artists podcast channel. Enjoy it, Trev.
Hey, that's us.
That is us. We are trying the best we can.
Yeah, I think we're getting into a good groove recently. Yeah, it took us I think it took us a couple episodes to get going pretty well. All right. This nervous breakdown in progress is Jerky Bill, right? I want to make sure I call him out correctly. Okay. So Jerky Bill sent us a review on Instagram, or posted a review on Instagram, I should say. So April's Struggling Artist Record Club brings a release I almost pulled the trigger on earlier through the record company Bandcamp page. I'd previously bought a copy of Scarboro's earlier releases, Here Comes the Hangover and Wolves on the Radio. And I'm a big fan of their skate punk quick as hell style. Flash forward from 2013's demos to now with Hate Season. It starts with a tongue-in-cheek instrumental that sounds of a mix of high school ska band and Good Charlotte. That's all of 1 minute long. Immediately switching to Midnight Special. That reminds us of the fast as fuck skate punk beginnings. I appreciate the Latin punk of Scene Futuro. I took Spanish in high school, but obviously I don't know how to pronounce things. tapping into that Latin punk scene that is so unforgivingly ignored by too many. Benzos and Coke tells us time goes by too quick whether you're a family dude or disenfranchised Coke fiend, though I personally wouldn't go the Coke route since I could fit the bottle up my nose. Insert dead laughter here. Hey, Trev, throw some in. I get that life is fleeting no matter what you got. Save yourself. A plea to those in the throes of depression and surrounded by similar people in that same situation, but they are unable to help each other as they focus on helping themselves. Kill Your Ego, a sequel to the previous song that says, whatever you're using to heal yourself hasn't worked. Try something new, or else. Hate Season. There's a broken and possibly shitty family dynamic at work here that I'm sure will be the subject of many more at songs to come. Not sure. Instagram stuff. Chaser is my favorite song of the release. A not so thinly veiled poke at fascism and the current administration, and wondering when the dipshits that voted for this will wake up and smell the shit, or maybe have the velcroed wool pulled from their eyes. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that day too. We all do, man. We all do. I could go on. There's lyrics that describe recovery, need for forgiveness, another cry for help, reluctant acceptance, and the suck it up or else. That bass riff on Got Soul is fantastic. The guitar and drums are frenetic throughout the release. I bet on stage. I'm going to murder this name, sorry. Rafika? Rafika? I'll go with that, because it's a PH in the name. Looks like an octopus when... I bet on stage Rafika looks like an octopus when playing. She's the drummer. So, yeah, that would make sense. There are deviations from earlier releases. Turn It Up and Got Soul have pop-punk tendencies. Not bad, just different. That's part 1 out of 2. 2 out of 2 is kind of brief. I can go ahead and keep reading that. Save Yourself switches between pop-punk and skate-punk effortlessly. A possible clue for things to come. The lyric sheet is much appreciated. At Sell the Heart Records has many bands in their discography that are much worth listening to, and definitely get a hold of Scarboro's earlier stuff as you will not be disappointed. Yeah. Thanks for the review there. Sorry I didn't read it very well.
Okay. I'll go ahead and read mine. If you're a regular listener to the record recap, you would remember that I used to write these wacky, bizarre stories, and that would pretty much be my review. I did this because I felt it was unique and different, and then when the bands seemed to enjoy the stories, and Trev and Chris seemed to laugh and enjoy it, I decided I would keep creating them. For whatever reason, I haven't written one since the 40 Reps review, which was, I believe, in the fall time. So it's been some time. So I felt it was time to make everyone suffer through one again. And as Trev always says, these stories are purely fictional. The main character's name is Rev, spelled R-E-V. This is a tribute to one of the greatest skate punk albums ever, 10 Foot Pole's Rev, and also the Drowns vocalist called the Rev. The name should not be confused with our epic leader, Trev, spelled T-R-E-V. However, Trev's readout did inspire this story. So here we go. Rev, again, not Trev, Rev, knew every punk, hardcore, and ska band in America. He took pride in going to most of the punk and hardcore shows. He always dressed like a skinhead oi. He loved that look. He took pride in making sure his clothes were clean and new looking. He'd get a drink at the bar and watch the band, never speaking to anyone or going into the pit. He had to focus because in his mind, he was the one who would tell the band which label to sign to. He felt he had a gift. He would listen to a band and know exactly where their career path would be. He would contact labels and say, you're signing this band, they will sell X amount of records. The variants need to be splatter and just straight black. After this album, a manager will be needed. tour these spots. The label and band would pay him a consulting fee, even though they never hired him and he never requested money. He really wasn't very punk at all. He just treated it like a business. All the bands knew Rev got results, and correct results. He was kind of like the scene leader, even though nobody really liked him since he never seemed to have a good time. But his ability to connect the dots and make everything flow was remarkable. If a band was booked at a venue he felt was wrong, he would contact them and the venue and explain why he felt this way, and they would listen. If a band recorded a bad album, he would produce and master the next one to get them back on track. He was a musical genius. When Scarboro released Hate Season and the scene lost their minds, Rev lost his mind too. How did this band never enter his radar? How could they create this masterpiece without his help? He listened to the album over and over. It was the perfect combo of Bad Brains meets skate punk and hardcore, a combination he hadn't heard in a long time. Rev started digging around his record collection, and Rev started digging around. He found out they were from New York and had been around for over 15 years. This was their second album. They toured the tri-state area, but how had Rev never heard of them? He tried to sleep, but just repeated the name Scarboro over and over in his mind. Scarboro, Scarboro, Scarboro. Who was this band? He reviewed flyers from shows he'd been to and saw Scarboro listed, but he had no memory of seeing them. One day, the hair stood up on his arms when he found Scarborough's first album, Here Comes the Hangover, in his record collection. He looked further, and when he saw the new album, Hate Season, in his record collection as well, he thought it was a side effect from too many benzos and cokes. Scarborough was now meeting with big labels and talking to the best producers about their next album. This was all stuff Rev would be involved in, but no one cared about him now, since he couldn't even provide guidance or help to one of the scene's biggest bands. The band's song, Turn It Up, was now playing on the radio all the time. Every punk loved that song. When Rev heard the first song on the new album, Midnight Special, and the lyric, I'm a broken disaster, he knew the singer Shai was talking directly to him. He knew his career was over. A month later, Rev pivoted genres and went to hip-hop shows. He dressed in baggy pants and chains. His hat was on sideways. A blunt was behind his ear, and a 40-ounce malt liquor in his hand. He spoke with a fake accent. What it be, mofos? Listen up. Name's Rev. If you want to succeed, listen to me. I make or break bands. A rapper took his 40-ounce, smashed it to the ground, and held a sharp piece of broken bottle to his neck, saying, You have 40 seconds to leave and never come back before we kill you. Following week, he tried country music, boots and a cowboy hat, but was kicked out in under 10 minutes. He wandered city streets depressed until loud music drew him inside a venue. He found himself lost in the pit, dancing, moshing, and singing his heart out. He stage dived and had the best time of his life. When he woke up, he was covered in scars. Then a light bulb went on. He remembered everything about Scarborough, buying the album and seeing them live. As the memories rushed in, he realized these memories were from the scars from the night before. That was the missing link. Punk rock wasn't supposed to be a transaction or a business, and that was how he treated it. It was about community, moshing, laughing, and letting go of all your problems while singing your heart out in the pit. Scarborough saved and changed his life. Rev would now go to shows, and instead of not talking to anybody, all he did was talk to people. He laughed and danced in the pit and stage dived. He didn't worry about bands getting bigger or anything like that. If they wanted his help, they would reach out and he would gladly help them. But punk rock was about being in the moment and embracing those shows and times with your friends. So that was my stupid little story. Now for my actual review.
Yeah, that was a good one to get back into it.
Yeah, I'm a little rusty.
Felt like you were describing me a little bit about how I go to shows and just kind of stand there.
Yeah, I didn't want to think this story was about anyone. It's just me trying to get back into writing these wacky stories.
No, I've been going to enough shows that I'm starting to recognize people and talk to them. So it's great. I really like it.
Right, that's what it should be about, you know?
Yeah, and that's where he ended up.
And I'm guilty of that too. When I'm growing up, I'd go to shows and just sit there with my arms crossed, stoned on weed and drunk and just not talking to anyone. But
I mean, I'm not going to be going in the pit. I'm too old for that nonsense. But I enjoy watching it and having other people going off.
yeah,
That's how I get my energy at the show.
nice. Okay, so here comes the actual review. When I first listened to Scarboro, my brain kept thinking of all the bands they reminded me of. Bad Brains, Pennywise, Link 80, Bad Religion, Operation Ivy, Common Rider, 88 Fingers Louie, Nerve Agents, Less Than Jake, Comeback Kid, The Drowns, Good Riddance, Soulfly, School Drugs, Blood Brothers, and Rancid. I could list many more, but you get the point. This has never happened to me while listening to an album. Usually I focus on the music, but with Scarboro, all I could do was think, well, that part sounds like this band. This part sounds like this band. It's not a bad thing, I'm not trying to say they're copying. It's just amazing how they touch on so many different styles and genres of punk rock. I've never come across a band that sounds like a different band every 30 seconds to a minute. After 30 years of listening to punk and hardcore, hearing a band touch on every band I've loved over those decades is something really cool. Almost like summing up my musical tastes. If I put all the bands I love into an AI program, maybe it would create music like this. Thankfully, this isn't AI. These are real humans making real music from real emotions. The album opens up with an intro horn section. I've never really liked intros at the start of albums. I feel like they would fit perfectly in the middle of an album to kind of give the listeners a break, a breather. So yeah, I'm not really a fan of that, the intro, and really that's the only mistake I felt this album had. So after the instrumental intro, we get to Midnight Special. The chorus, I'm a broken disaster, is something everyone can relate to. You know, pretty much because politicians and big pharma never aim to heal and unite us, but keep us divided and sick for their profit. The left hates the right hates the left, and the politicians and big pharma profit from it. Dark steals the light is a fantastic lyric from the opening song as it's describing society and the planet, you know, dark forces stealing the light of hardworking good people. The next song impressed me a lot because it sounds like Soulfly, a metal band I like. The lead singer of Soulfly, Max, is from Brazil, and he uses Brazilian tribal beats. And I really didn't expect a punk band to do the same. If I remember correctly, Shy, with his interview with Trev, said he was inspired when he went to Puerto Rico and he wanted to use some of the native sounds from that in that song. Benzos and Coke is next. It's a fast, short song about Shy's therapist prescribing benzos to him. Save Yourself brings out the Bad Brains meets skate punk vibe, a song about staying positive during dark mental days. Kill Your Ego, Not Yourself features some awesome horns. Hate Season has strong Bad Brain vibes. Chaser reminds me of New Jersey's School Drugs, known for their hardcore thrash vibe. A great song. A Nidina, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, as a killer skate punk vibe. Kinitsku slows things down with female vocals from Casey Heisler. And then the last four songs are basically kind of mid-tempo pop punk tracks. And one of those songs is Turn It Up. And that's probably my favorite song on the album. Just a really fun song about playing music loud. It reminds me of Rancid mixed with Link 80. I could listen to that song all day long. Thankfully, lyrics were included. I really like the cover art, an eagle with a booze bottle, I guess Molotov cocktail vibes. And then it's standing on top of a skull. And then the lyrics and the cover art, I guess, are just like, are they playing cards? Some kind of cards. It just works really well. And then the vinyl was just all black. So, and that's my review.
Yeah, that was a good review there. Yeah, I started working on my review, and before I listened to the album a whole lot, I kind of wrote my introduction. Kind of feel like I mentioned that I'm not really that into hardcore several times, and it was taken as a challenge by
Yeah.
Trev, a challenge to change my mind. To me, this didn't really feel like hardcore the way I think of hardcore, and maybe it's. I know there's different subgenres like New York hardcore, melodic hardcore, and all that. So maybe I just didn't. I didn't quite feel this was a straight up hardcore record, which Trev does mention. It's kind of hardcore mixed with skate punk and all that. So yeah, I did end up liking this record. Um, Normally, and this is just my opinion, not being a huge fan of hardcore. Usually, to me, the records or the albums all kind of feel the same. There's not much variation across the album. This album, every song was a little bit different. You could tell it's still the same band and all that, but there's enough variation in both the music and lyrical delivery that the songs didn't get repetitive or just feel like they were um, wearing you down, sounding the same. So between the 18 Fevers record and this record from Scarboro, I found myself having to do some research to prepare for these reviews. Last month, it was to find general information about an unknown foreign band. This time, it was for things like word definitions, because I wanted to dig deeper into the meaning of the lyrics since they were provided. Some of them I had heard before, but needed a refresher for accuracy. I also translated a line from Sin Futuro, which is no future, in Spanish, because I didn't recognize the word Boricua. It didn't really have a translation since it's just a term for a person from Puerto Rico or of Puerto Rican descent. So he's Puerto Rican descent and he's from the Philippines. So that's what that line translated to. From track 8, there was track 8 Chaser. Nadir was in there, which is the lowest point, worst moment, or deepest level of adversity in a situation, career, or relationship. And for that, the line is choking on the nadir of your hypocrisy. So I wanted to know what nadir meant in that case. And then the following line, I have reached the apogee of my own apathy. I like that he used apogee because it rhymes nicely with apathy. I had heard apogee before, but needed to remind myself. It's the highest point, like a zenith. It's also the opposite of nadir. So those two work well together in that song. And then track 9, Anhedonia. I think that's how it's pronounced. This one I found interesting. It's the reduced ability to experience pleasure or a total loss of interest in activities once found enjoyable. It is a core symptom of depression and other mental health conditions, often described as a feeling of numbness, emptiness, or a void where joy used to be. It's nice to know there's a term for how I felt for much of the last decade.
Yeah, that's really cool. I was wondering what that meant myself, but I'm glad you did the research.
Yeah, and then track 10, the title Kintsugi, which means golden joinery. It's the centuries-old Japanese art of repairing broken pottery by mending fractures with lacquer mixed with powdered gold, silver, or platinum. Rather than hiding damage, this technique highlights scars, treating breakage as part of an object's history and beauty. I was familiar with this technique for repairs, but I didn't know what the term was, but glad I do now. And I felt a little bit differently than you for that instrumental intro. I liked it. I liked it because it was 1 minute of just instrumental, and then it led right in perfectly to the first track. And it just took off hard after that. opening instrumental. The combination of the first two tracks and how they flowed together set the tone for the rest of the album. And I actually saw a band do this once. They went up on stage and just started playing instruments like for the first 30 seconds to a minute. And then, after that they stopped and introduced themselves and all that. It was an interesting way to see it, to start a show. So this kind of reminded me of that. So I did enjoy it. We don't all have to enjoy the same thing. So that's
exactly,
great.
Right.
Track 5, Save Yourself, was another one that resonated with me. It was another song about depression that I found relatable, but this time it felt different to me. Typically, when I have this kind of a connection to a song, it's because I relate to the songwriter's perspective. I think that because of where I've gotten in my mental health journey, this time I felt more like the audience, and it's reminding me to keep going. Some of the lyrics are, I wish I could help you, but I can't even fucking help myself. And so I'm asking you, believe that you are worth it and trust that one day you'll save yourself. So I kind of feel like I can take pressure off of him because he's not trying to save me right now. He can't even help himself. And so I feel like I've progressed to the point where I'm actually doing fairly well. Chronic depression, and that faded almost a year and a half ago now. So I hope it keeps going.
Yeah.
Chaser, track 8. Oh, I already went over this. It was choking on the nadir of your hypocrisy. I have reached the apogee of my own apathy. I just like the way those two, getting the low point and then the opposite high point, just the way they work together. I just enjoyed that. And then track 9, Anhedonia, included secondary screamed vocals like you would hear from a lot of folk punk bands like Doom Scroll or Days and Days. I've been listening to a lot of folk punk recently, so this vocal delivery combined with the lyrics hooked me. As I mentioned, learning a new term for something I felt for a long time helped me build my connection to the song and the record as a whole. There's a monster in the attic, and I put them there, or there's monsters, plural, in the attic, and I put them there. Grief, trauma, anhedonia mixed in with despair. Very relatable for me. I just dug that one right away. And then the last one I'm going to highlight is Kintsugi, track 10. As you mentioned, guest vocals, which provided another welcome change for the lyrical delivery. And it kind of reminded me of the songs I think both you and I pointed out, Unseemly or Blind Adam, where they had a female vocalist join in and just gave the song a different feel.
I feel like every album should have some female vocals in it. It sounds so good, and it's just breaks, gives the album variety. And again, like I said, it really does sound so good.
Yeah. And it's a change.
Yeah, right.
Unless it's 18 Fevers, then that's most of the songs. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed this album. Lyrics were included, which was great. If I had to complain about something, since we got the lyrics, I'm old, and they were all in the same size square when they were printed.
I know.
So exactly. Some of the text is larger or smaller. As an old guy, that didn't help on some of them, but yeah, I agree. They were provided.
Most of the songs, so I have Spotify, so most of the songs, the lyrics were on Spotify, and I was just following on that because, like you said, they're a little bit on the small side. I found it just a little bit easier with the Spotify, but again, I'm just glad there was lyrics.
Yeah, I've got a program that for my media player on my laptop that will look up lyrics for me, and most of these, it picked them up, so I could actually save them into the tags as well. So that's nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's all I've got.
All
Another
right.
good
Well,
record from Trev.
yeah, thank you again, Trev, and we look forward to seeing what you'll be sending us next month.
Yeah, can't wait till next month's record.
Take care, everyone.